January 2023 at 2 p.m. in Britain, and I'm here today to show you some items from the new catalogues available from Stamping Up. Oh, already we have Cindy. Hello Cindy, lovely to have you along. Thanks for the support. Interesting supplies and a dotty stamp. Oh yes. Hi Anne, great to have you along. Thanks for coming. Hi Levine, Happy New Year to you too. So, our long-awaited mini catalogue is now available to be seen and purchased from by the public. Now, I'm not going to go all through this today, but if I just quickly flick through, you can see that we've got lots of beautiful, lovely new items. Now, I might go through that on another occasion, but that's been long awaited by lots of people, I know. But what I'm going to concentrate on today is the Celebration catalogue. Hello Hilary, thanks for coming along, nice to see you. Now the Celebration catalogue is really exciting because everything in here is free. Yep, free. So I'm not going to show you everything again because it'll take too long, but I'll just quickly flick through just to show you the pictures so that you can actually see what's there. Now there are a lot of designer series papers going free in this one, and I'm going to be using one of these today. So this one, the whole pack is free with a spend of £45 from either of our current catalogues. Now I did use one of these last week when I made this lovely card. So that was the floral design there. And the one I'm going to use this week is this one. I'll show you more of it. Oh, sorry, I just dropped stamp sets. I'll show you more of that in a minute. Then we've got the Day at the Farm Designer Series paper, some sentiment stamps there, some more florals, and then we've got this Beautifully Happy stamp set, which I have used before and I'm going to use again today. And then I'm using this Designer Series paper, which I did use that sheet a couple of weeks ago when I made this one. So as you can see, these free items are really usable. Okay, so let me get started. I'll just pick up the things I've dropped. So I'm going to start with my card base today, and it's a 5 3/4 inch square card base. Hello Caroline, thanks for coming along again today. It's lovely to see you back, as everybody. Cindy says, hi Anne, and hope you're all doing well. I'm doing well, and I hope you are all too. So that's my card base, and this is the paper I've chosen. It's kind of like a watercolour effect with dottage. So it sort of comes from here. I can't remember how I cut this up now, but something like that. Anyway, you can picture the full sheet. Beautiful. And you've got the florals on the other side. So I'm simply going to mount the Designer Series paper onto the card base with my Tombow multi-purpose glue and my trusty tweezers. It's blurry, is it? Okay, now is anybody else experiencing blurriness? On my laptop, it looks fine. Unfortunately, there's not really anything I can do about the quality of the picture when it gets to you, I'm afraid. So Anne says, yeah, she's sorry she misses your life. It's the same time she phones her family. It's always difficult, isn't it? And it's the time we eat. So it's, you know, that's the trouble when we watch internationally. We're never going to please everybody, are we? I know there are people in Australia that might want to watch me and they can't because of the time difference. So that's my starting point. Now, this card is for my daughter's birthday. and she is it's her birthday on the 16th of January, so that's far to go. Right, so Lavina is saying that the picture's good for her. Good. You couldn't make the catalogue out, Caroline. What's it looking like now? Is it clearer now? And I might bring it back again later. Okay. So yeah, so for my daughter, she wants a very expensive pair of boots, and which she won't tell me how much they cost, but yeah, I know they're a lot of money. And so she asked for money for Christmas towards them, and she's asking for money again towards them for her birthday. Now, you know, it's always difficult to gift money, isn't it? To make it look something special. I mean, I guess, you know, at her age, it's not all the excitement like it was, but, you know, so I'm going to make the card, but instead of concealing the place to tuck the money, I'm going to make a feature of it. So Caroline says the replays are fine, and last week's live was perfect. Yeah, do you know what, Caroline? I think we all experience this at some time. I watch some people's lives and they're not very good. But then if you watch the replay, they are. So I think, I'm sorry to say, but I do think it's luck of the draw. So what I'm making is I'm going to make little envelopes to put the money in. So I've made one, and this one took me a little while to work out, to get the paper size right and the size of the envelope correct. And I wanted to be 2.5 inches square. So that took a little bit of trial and error. So the first one, once I'd got it, I've left that, made that and stuck it together. And I'm going to show you how I made it with the second piece of paper. So this is the same paper, but I'm going to make my other envelope with this design on the outside, just to make them look a little bit different. Okay. Caroline says, Ellie, my sis always gives me the money easier, and because I'm fussy. Do you know what, Caroline? When you get older, you are fussy, aren't you? You know, to be honest, if you haven't got it, you can't afford it. And if you can't afford it, you don't expect other people to afford it. So, you know, I think it's fair enough. So anyway, let me show you how I made the envelope. So first of all, the general, I'm going to say rule, but I don't like the word rule. But the genuine advice to follow, let's say that, is to find the size of, normally you're making a card to put an envelope in, all right? So take the size of the card that you want. So let's suppose this is the size of my, no, I don't want that because that's my finished envelope. Okay. So suppose I wanted to make an envelope for this card. You measure diagonally, and that's 8 inches, and you add an inch. So you need a piece of paper that measures 9 by 9 for this, to make an envelope for the card to fit in with a little room to maneuver. All right. Now, when I first did this, I thought, right, I want an envelope 3 by 3. So I measured 3 by 3, 2.5 by 2.5 across. And I made it like that, and it was the wrong size because it was making me an envelope that this would fit into. That's not what I wanted. And I found out that if you make your card, cut a piece of card that will is exactly the size you want, and only add, right, yeah, we add 1/2 inch. No, it's, isn't it? That is, no, sorry, that's what I was saying, wasn't I? Oh, my mind's gone blank now. Yeah, so if I measure that, it says 3.5. And then, so I would make that 4.5. But if you make it 4.5, it's too big. What you do is you come down 1/2 inch, and it will make the envelope that size. So you want to start with a piece of paper that's 4 by 4 if you want to make a 2.5 inch square envelope. I do hope I'm making sense, because I just really confused myself. And then what you need to do is take that piece of paper and find the halfway mark. Now, obviously that's easy because we know that's 2 inches. And do that top and bottom so you make sure you get a straight line. Caroline's really confused now. Yeah, sorry, I really went off on one there, didn't I? Basically, you measure across. I want this to be 2.5 inches. So instead of adding a whole inch, I only add half. So I made it 4 inches. And then I measure in the halfway mark, top and bottom. So now I'm going to simply draw a line along there and the other way, just faintly. You won't see any of this. We can rub a little bit out, but the rest of it you won't see, so it's fine. So once you've got that, that's on the inside of your envelope, okay? Now you need to put this in the opposite way. So this is going to be a square inside there. And then all you do is turn this until the points line up with these lines you've drawn. And once you've done that, it's really, really easy. You're going to bring up the first part and wrap it around that piece of card that you made, which is, yeah, if you want your square, if you find the square, the size you want, and you want to make it exactly that size, you only add 1/2 inch. If you want to make an envelope for this to fit into, you add 1 inch, and it applies to every card. But you always start with square paper. So you just fold these around your piece of card. Now I actually cut my little piece of card slightly smaller than 2.5 because I want this to end up 2.5. So if I do this, folding it all round, it allows for the tiny little bit that naturally occurs when you fold into something. So you can see now it's all folding in lovely here. It's all meeting really nicely here. And then finally you can bring that top bit down and it all sits really nicely, okay? But just to make this really sit nicely, you need to do a little bit of trimming. It's not you, Caroline, being thick. It's me sort of not being able to explain it properly. But one day what I'll do is I'll actually do a video on making envelopes, all right, to explain it better to you. So I'm just going to use my bone folder now to reinforce all my score lines. And then to make it neater, you just need to, if I do it on this side, it's actually a bit easier to see. So I'm coming in a little bit from that score line, about 1/8 inch, and I'm just coming down to the point of intersection there and just getting that. And then I'm going to go all the way around doing the same thing. Now, if our envelope punch board was still available, I would be showing you how to do this on that, but it's not available anymore. So I'm showing you how to do it without any apparatus. What am I doing here? Yeah, so we're just curling a little bit round like that. So when it comes out, they look like this. Anyone who's got the that board will have made these, and you'll know what I mean, what they look like when you punch it out. So you're just taking those little bits out of the corners, and that makes a massive difference when we fold it together. Caroline's going to re-watch this a little bit, and Anne says Ellie and I have had many a laugh measuring things. Yeah, yeah. Anne and rulers don't really get on, but we won't go into it, will we, Anne? No, we won't talk about that box that day that we you know, when Anne's eyes glazed over. That's, you know, that's, we won't talk about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick these bits down. All right. So I usually like to fold the sides in first, and I put a little dot of glue on that point and a little dot of glue on that point, and then I know my glue's in the right place. And then I put a little bit here as well. I favour glue over double-sided tape on this. And then I'm just going to round the corner off on the top of this envelope because it looks neater. And that's just like that. So that looks like a nice cute little envelope, and there's the two. Okay, so it measures exactly 2.5 inches, which is what I wanted. Okay, like so. Oh, thank God it did measure 2.5 inches. I'd have looked right to it if it didn't, wouldn't I? So bringing back in my card base, these are going to sit on the front, and the money is going to go in there and there. And I thought it would be quite fun. Yeah, they are dinky, aren't they, Caroline? I thought it would be fun just for a laugh, you know, for my daughter, if I just put a £5 in there. So she'll open that and think, oh, is that all she's given me? And then I'll put the rest of it in that one, you know, because, you know, we like to have a bit of a laugh, don't we? We like winding people up. So they're going to go sort of like that. I'm trying to get the border here and that almost sort of the same. It might be, you know, just bring it in slightly to give yourself the right measurement. So I have to say that the inspiration for this came from, I forgot, her name will come to me in a minute. She's a lovely lady on YouTube who is from New Zealand. She's not a Stampin' Up demonstrator. She's completely independent. She uses products from all over the place. Oh, what's her name? It'll come to me in a minute. I watch her quite a lot because she has a lot of good ideas. Now, her card was all mini envelopes all over the front, and it was nothing to do with gifting money, but it just, you know, I just thought, oh, I could make larger envelopes, put money in it. Oh, and that's how I could, you know, manage Louise's birthday gift. So it was all from that. So it was a completely different project. It just gave me the inspiration. What's she called? Caroline, I will be your daughter. Oh dear. Right then, now the next bit is, now if you wanted to, you could put more envelopes, you could make it fun, putting, you know, different amounts of money in each one, or little gifts, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But I thought it'd be nice to do now 2 little cards either side there. So what I've done is I've made 2 cards that are the same size as the envelopes, 2.5 inches square. And I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on these. All right. Oh, look what I've done. Right, I'm going to have to take this off very, very quickly. And stick them back on. In the right place like that. Oh my Lord. So the cards are going to go on the opposite way. Ooh, note to self. Check what you're doing when you're chatting. Oh dear, never mind. You know, it's embarrassing when things go wrong. However, it's good in a way because it shows other people that if you do something wrong, there's always a way around it. You don't always have to chuck the card away and start again. Yeah, can anybody admit to never, ever making that mistake? Come on, you've all done it. I know you've all done it. Okay, so there we are. We have a card that is up the right way with our envelopes up the right way. Okay, there we go. Oh dear, that was terrible, wasn't it? So I'm going to put my little card there and another one on the other side. All right, so this is the ones I'm going to use my stamping. So the stamps come from, as I mentioned before, Beautifully Happy. And again, I'm going to use this one, which I used before, and the little dots. We do love a bit of dottage. So I'm just going to bring this in, and I'm going to use the catalogue to lean on because my, what did I do with the catalogue? My piercing mat is rather large. Oh, here we are. Let's lean on this just to give me a little bit of softness underneath. So I'm using this stamp first, and I'm using crushed curry, which you might think is a strange colour to use with this. However, the reason I've chosen it is because it's the colour that's in the background here. So that's the paler shade, and that's the actual neat stamped colour. Caroline says she's done it. Cindy said, yep, she's done it quite frequently. That's a good one, Cindy. Thanks for supporting me there. Hillary's, Hillary says, I make mistakes all the time, and that's it. We all do. Caroline says, Ellie, I love when things like this happen. As demos, always shrug it off, laugh, and then give remedy. I appreciate that. Good, thank you. And Levine says, a lot of times for me, and she always goes wrong, but always looks better. Good. Yeah, it's a bit of a lesson, really. Don't give up. Just move on, and let's put it right. I don't want this to be full strength, so I'm going to stamp off a couple of times, actually, because crushed curry is quite a strong colour. So I'm just doing this quite randomly. But I do like this. Whoops, I love this stamp as a little sort of filler stamp, I think I would call it. So that's enough detail on there. And then I'm going to come on in with my stamp, my greeting, which is Happy Birthday. And that one I have taken from Shaded Summer. Now, interestingly, the stamp set Shaded Summer was in our previous annual catalogue as well as the current one. But the dies were in the Celebration catalogue back in the summer. So what they've done is they've now brought the dies into the annual catalogue. So if you see something in the Celebration catalogue, every now and then they bring it back as a main item in the catalogue. So if you really like something and you didn't get it the first time round, there's sometimes a chance of getting it again. So do keep your eyes on the catalogues. Now I'm going to use Rich Raspberry to stamp the Happy Birthday because the dottage here is in Rich Raspberry. So we like to bring all the colours in to match, and that's one of the fabulous things about Stampin' Up. Everything, everything comes in all the colours, so it'll never clash. Caroline's ordered the crushed curry. Yeah, nice one. Oh, hi, Janice. Lovely to see you. Yeah, good to have you along, Janice. Thanks for joining us. We're just using items from the Celebration catalogue. So that's that little card made, and that one's going to sit up there. Now, I wanted the other card to say to my daughter, and we don't have a stamp that says to my daughter. And sometimes we've got stamps, what do you call them? Sentiment stamps that you can cut up and make whatever you like. I don't have any of those. Quite often, if I do, they're not the right size. So what I did was I kind of got a font that I thought mimicked this one quite well. And I typed it on, used my computer to type this. But you can get the colour to match by using the hex values, which you can get this on the internet. You just type in Stampin' Up hex values, and this comes up, and you can print it off. and it gives you the code to type into your computer to get the colour. And when this stamping fades, it fades down, so it will be nearer to that. Okay, so this one's going to go over here, but I'm going to add that background stamping to it. So we'll go with the crushed curry. Janice is waving across the river to you, Caroline, because she's a wee Scot too. Which river separates you? So then we're going to come in with our dottage. And again, I'm going to stamp off because it's quite pale in the designer syrups paper, so I don't want it to be too obvious on my card. So if you look at the back, it's quite pale, and we'll come in with it here as well. Oops, I stamped off before I even stamped it on the ink pad then. Oh dear, let's turn this round a bit. So yeah, so there's my dottage. So you can see the kind of effect I was looking for. And I can see the kind of effect I was looking for because, as usual, I haven't made one of these in advance. It's when I do a live, it's all in my head, apart from the bits I make ahead of time, but I don't make anything like it before. Right, let's move this out so that we can see what we're doing clearly. This is some ribbon that was available, I believe, in our last annual catalogue. And it's some really nice ribbon that came in just the in colours, which was Fresh Freesia, Pale Papaya, Evening Evergreen and Polished Pink. So those were the in colours from last year, and I still happen to have them. So what I'm going to do is anchor the ribbon behind my card with some double-sided tape, because that holds ribbon a bit quicker than wet glue. So let's grab a card. So Caroline and Janice have the River Forth between them. Come on. So put that as centrally as I can get it. So that can go on there now. So I might use the wet glue just to pop the card down. So what's your thoughts on this idea? Do you think it's good to openly put the envelopes for the money on the front? Do you think that's a good idea? Or do you prefer hiding it in the middle and finding a little sort of secret compartment to add it into? I used to favour money wallets. So people would get a card and another little specially made sort of money shaped card, decorated up. That's what I used to do quite often. But sometimes you just want to do something different, don't you? Well, I like doing different things all the time. Oh, Cindy said the ribbons are still available until May. Thanks, Cindy. I thought, oh yeah, of course the end colours are in for 2 years. Yeah, ignore me. I'm sometimes a bit stupid. Yeah, and my friends will probably say, yeah, she's quite often stupid. Like this morning, I think my son's getting a bit worried about me. I'm a bit forgetful, you know. I think he thinks it's, you know, dementia or whatever. Yeah, I don't think he understands that, you know, women of a certain age do kind of like forget things and, you know, can completely forget what they're actually doing and etc. Yeah, because, well, the thing I did this morning was run the tap, put the plug in, the phone rang. I answered the phone, and the conversation I had with the other person meant that I had to go upstairs. So I went upstairs and completely forgot I had the tap running. My son was sat in the dining room and he could hear something. So he went in to see what it was, just in time, really, you know, because when I came down, he said, "You nearly flooded the kitchen." Dear, dear, dear. So I was in trouble, you know. But that's not the only thing, you know, I've sort of done recently. There's a few things, but, you know I'm not cracking up. Right, okay, now I chose to just do those, like, what do you call it, faux bow, because if I put a big bow on the front, I think it would be too big for the little cards, the dinky cards. Janice says it's a fun card, thank you. And Caroline likes both. She likes the small amount on the front will bring a big smile, yeah. And Anne's saying nothing, that's about me going doodle-lally. And Naveen says that she does do money while it's inside, but she's thinking this might be an alternative just for a change. Caroline's even more forgetful than me, look. She leaves her bag on the trolley handles. And she's left her medication and all sorts. Yeah, see, I think it's because us women just got so much to think about, haven't we? Got so many responsibilities that, you know. Oh dear. And we don't do one thing at a time, do we? Right, okay, so I think that's made quite a pretty card front. Now, I was thinking about how I would seal these up, and I decided not to seal them up because when they're opened, you know, and the card is still going to be displayed, they won't want anything ripped. So I'm just going to put the money in and tuck these closed. I'm sure I'll find a way to do it. So I'm not going to mess about with it now in case I damage the envelope in my what I might do actually is just gently curve this so that it gives me an edge to slide in better. I think that's what I'm going to go for. Anyway, do you know what? I've actually finished. That came together so quickly. Hilary says notes are a bit springy with the coating now. How do they stay put? Well, you just get your bone folder and really fold them and crease them, and then they'll stay inside, and then you just push this down. Or you could put a little bit of post-it note to keep it down. Or one of my favourites is blue tack. Yeah, don't worry, I will find a way of keeping them in there. Yeah, anyway, so let me know what you think of that, and if you think you might try it. As I've been very quick, let's have a quick flick through the catalogue and just show those who haven't seen it. Caroline says, I think it was US Karen Titus who added teeny magnets. Yeah, you can add teeny magnets, and I've got some, but they're not very strong. When you add really small ones, they're not very strong. So honestly, my daughter's not fussy. She'll just rip them open and get the money. So okay, so I'm just going to show you one or two things in here. So that's a new suite called Floral Lane. We've got it's a lot of florals in this catalogue, I have to say. Let's put the lid on my glue so it doesn't dry up. In the spring mini catalogues, we always get lots of ideas for Valentine's. So there's all these kind of pinky ready things. This is a lovely suite, actually, the Fancy Flora. I've got the actual stamp set, the two-tone flora stamp set and the dies. I didn't go for the designer series paper because I have so much of it that I'm trying to use what I've got. And if you want some paper to match your project, you can always stamp it with the stamp set if you buy that. So just flicking through here are some more ideas. This is a really nice one. I love this little, it's like they're little butterflies sort of in a swarm. And you've got the bee. Oh, they might, no, they are butterflies. Well, they might be the bees. But you've got the 3 different sized bees. The leaves are really nice, the foliage. So more, and this one's rather nice, the seaside bay. If you're a person who likes seasides, you probably get a lot of use out of this, and the papers are really beautiful. Let's have a look. I did watch it. Yeah, I couldn't catch the live. I'll let you know what Louise thinks, Cindy. Thank you. Yeah, Esther Esther's really good at using a stamp set for something completely different to, you know, its original intent. She's very good at that. Any bird watchers out there will like that. Lots of people have really loved this one, and it is very pretty, but I can't see me personally using it. We've got geese here, we've got turtles, some background stamps, lots of embellishments here, more designer series paper. This is a nice one. This is a 2-step stamping one, so you stamp your foliage and then these floral elements fit in and they fit over each other to fill in the gaps. That's really clever. I bought this one and I showed some of my stamping and the beautiful die there. So that was made with that suite. So I've been using this quite a lot, the items I bought. Some more florals here. People sometimes like to build up different characters, so that's a nice one there. And some cutes. They always put lots of cutie things in too. And we've got some beautiful designer series papers here with gilding on them. No, what's that called? What's this called? Not gilding. What is that? Oh, I forgot what it's called. Oh, it's gone out of my head. Someone will tell me. I really like, I'm not so keen on the stamp set, but I love these dies, so that might be something I look at getting. We'll see. It cuts out like this, and when you use different designer paper, it's just gorgeous. Foiling. Thank you, Cindy. Couldn't think of that word. Isn't it awful? That's some nice designer series as paper as well. The animal ballet one there. If you've got somebody who's a keen ballet dancer, that's a nice one. And the borders, the decorative borders, I thought were very pretty. Again, some cute ones, more cute sort of Easter. They usually put something in for Easter. And then we've got something here for Easter. This is very pretty, the Dainty Delight. And I'm sure that goes with the Dainty Delight paper that I've got. This is quite sort of male orientated one here. And the Watercolour World. That one's not for me, but I've seen Esther use that in a one sheet wonder and it really did look good. So we've got some more masks here. I've got these. I haven't played with those yet. That's something I've yet to bring out. Cindy's got the animal one as a prize patrol in November. Ah, right, yeah. So yeah, there are, you know, there's lots of new things in this mini catalogue, and this is live from January through to the end of April if anybody's interested. Okay, so that was just a quick look through. So that's today's card. If you've enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. It's lovely to get your support. And if anybody would like to purchase anything, there's a link to my online store in the description box below, along with links to those two catalogues I've just shown you and the annual catalogue. You can actually download a digital version. Prize Patrol is when you go to on stage where all the demonstrators meet up, they do they patrol round every sort of, I don't know, what is it, every couple of hours, and you get a little ticket when you go in, and they call out your letter, or it's usually, I think it's just like a letter of the alphabet, and if you got that letter you get that prize, and Cindy's prize was that stamp set. So yeah, that's what happens. Okay, I'm going to say cheerio for now, and thank you for the thumbs up, everybody, and for watching. I just watched myself doing that, and I looked as if I was doing sign language for the deaf, didn't I? I should learn that, really. It's very useful. Yeah, I hope to do a live on, a recorded video for you to see on Wednesday, and should be back again live next Saturday. Anne says, lovely, thank you. Levine says, thanks for sharing and happy birthday to your daughter. Thank you very much, Levine. Thank you, Caroline. And thanks to everybody for coming again. It goes out at, it gets released at 8 o'clock, Caroline. If you subscribe and hit the bell for receiving all notifications, you'll get a little notification when it happens. All right, but you can watch it at any time, but it goes live at 8 o'clock. And then the live will be next Saturday at 2:30 again. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to say cheerio.